Okay, we're live. Howdy, everybody out there in YouTube land. How's all my girls out there in the chat room tonight? I see there's a bunch of them in there already. We got Kiki, we got Nicole, we got Bet, we've got Brandy. Michelle's in here with me in the chat room. Susan's out there. Let's see, Vicky's out there. And showing up through here. Yes, we got a bunch of them out there already this evening. They wanted front row seats for the festivities. So how you doing today, Michelle?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
Well, so far so good. I woke up above ground, so you know that's always a good sign first thing in the morning.
That's all we can ask for.
Well, I'm going to jump right on into this journal here. Y'all see this picture of this journal?
Ready.
You know, tell me what y'all think about this out there in the chat room. The Mod Podge dried.
She had on those leaves. Look at them now.
Y'all thought that Mod Podge wouldn't dry, but it did. It took it a couple days to get good and dry, but yes, it did. I put some real fine glitter on the leaves to sparkle them up, and then I highlighted the edges of the leaves with some acrylic paint and a stenciling brush.
Brilliant.
And then on the front of it, the other thing that I added is I had a little tag here that says curious. I thought that would kind of go with my Alice in Wonderland thing I seem to have going on. And then on the back of it, I had these little wooden feet or little wooden, I don't know, saw pieces. And I use them for feet on the back of it so that when it sits on a table, it don't mar the back of it all up. I put a piece of lace across the back where I had the ribbon running across for the tie. I put a tag on the back of it. This is one of the Alice in Wonderland tags with a Hatter hat. It says, "There is a place like no place on earth, a land full of wonder, mystery, and danger. Some say to survive it, you need to be as mad as a hatter." Then I put the Chessy cat down there on the bottom of it. It's a rubber stamp of a Chessy cat. And then I painted with acrylic paint and a stencil brush around the cat with a little wonky heart on the back. Then on the inside of the cover, get this untied here. Show you what I did on the inside. I put a tuck on the inside with my chicken with the parachute we was talking about last week. Get that in the frame there so you can see it. There's the chicken with the parachute. I had a Queen of Hearts tag that I stuck inside my little tuck pocket. And I took some hearts out of my bling jar. That's a wooden one, and I put a little piece of bling on that one. This is a stone heart up here, and then a little pearl heart down here on the bottom. See if I can get these in the picture so you can see them. It's doggone camera. I'll tell you what, I have played with this thing and played with this thing, and the more I play with it, the more I seem to mess it up on trying to get it directionalized as to what I'm doing. Then on the first page, I had a die cut of a teapot, and I put that on the front page and a little tag there with corners on the tag, and I painted on here, "This book belongs to Brenda Gibson." On the inside back cover, I took a piece of my homemade paper that I had embossed, and I took oh, my mind's going to go blank here, the Distress ink, Tim Holtz Distress ink. Yeah, and I just very lightly rubbed that over the embossing, and then I wet it. Sprayed it down with a mister and dried it off. I put lace around the sides of it. I put some embellishment up here on the top. And then I took a piece of scrapbook paper and some little flowers and die cuts and all kinds of stuff put down here on the bottom to dress up the bottom of it. Then on the inside, I've just barely got started here because I wanted you guys to be with me so I could show you how I do some of these things. This is a multi-pocketed tuck. And I've not seen anybody do these. but you just take a piece of paper and you score at the bottom. I scored a ½ inch score at the bottom of it. I scored, or no, a 1/4 inch. I'm sorry, 1/4 inch at the bottom, a 1/4 inch on each side of the piece of paper so that I can fold those under. And then I will be gluing those down to the page. I divided the length from the bottom here at the score line to the top, divided it into 3 equal sections, which gave me place to put 2 cuts in. And I took my ruler and my knife and I made 2 cuts. Now, hopefully my heat gun's hot now. Bernie, you with me? He seems to be cooperating. So we'll put a little bit.
I like that pocket. I really do. I'm grossly watching. I have to go back and forth for some reason. My screen is not letting me see you live and chat live, so I'm watching it on the YouTube side.
So you're earning your money tonight, you tell me.
I am. I'm going back and forth. You're making me work for this.
And
Brenda, so that's why I'm here.
Okay, so I glued the bottom down, and now I'm going to fold the sides of it in, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue. Now, you could wet glue this if you want to, but since it takes a little bit longer for the Tombow to dry or the tacky glue or whatever, I'm going to do it with hot glue because I want it glued down here to show you the rest of what I do with this once I get it glued in place. But just run just a teeny bit. I mean, you're not trying to glue the house together. You're just trying to put a tuck in the book. And press it down.
What is brand? Can I pop?
What's that?
Out? I don't know what that means. She told me to pop out the chat, and I don't know what that means. I'm in the Hangout, so I really can't do that, and I don't know why I can't get both windows up again.
Well, if you go to
I did it last week.
Go to the top of the live chat screen. You'll see 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, there is an option on there to pop out the chat. So you can pop the chat out off of the YouTube screen. You can move it anywhere. Just, take your mouse, move it anywhere on your screen you want to put it. And you can bring up the Google Hangout that we got going here for the show. And you can watch the chat at the same time by resizing the screens.
Okay. Let me try that.
Okay. While she's working on that, I'll show you here. I made 3 pieces of paper.
Oh, what door? I popped out the chat.
See, I can teach you all kinds of new things.
Whoa! I did not even know this did this. Boy, oh boy. Oh, I have to tell Abby how to do this because this is cool. I see exactly what you're doing, and I can see everyone in the chat. That's what you do when you're on my panel, really, Abby? I did not know about popping out the chat.
We taught Michelle something new.
Yes, and it's too many instructions for her. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll be quiet. Oh my gosh. I did just, I could not find you earlier, but I just subscribed, so I get 199 now.
Ah.
Yeah. I couldn't find I guess I'd written her name down wrong, and I looked and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm glad she popped back in here. I have those flat back pearls you're using.
Now you could use anything. I mean, whatever you got that's round, it's not going to take up a lot of room in your book. Whoops, drop that one upside down. There we go. But see, that way you measure the length of it and you make it just a little bit longer because you want it to stick out the top, so you can put your little pull on there for the first one. Then for the second one, you measure the length there and add a little bit to it. So you can put your pull on there, and you got that one. And then this one, just measure this bottom part and add a little bit to it. So you can add your flat back, and then you got that little pocket filled up. And you can use these to write on. You can put your pictures on them. You can put little sayings on them. You can rubber stamp them. You know, whatever you want to do in your journal, you can do here with this. It's a multi-tab, and it adds a little interest to the page.
That's very cool.
Okay, so that's one little trick. Now, I have not seen anybody do waterfalls in their journals. Has anybody done a waterfall?
In a journal? No, I have not.
See, that's a waterfall. And what you do is you take a piece of, I like to use cardstock rather than paper for the backing, because it's firmer. It'll stand up a little bit better than if you're just using regular paper. But you take a piece of, let's see, yeah, I've got one here. You take a piece of paper, and you make little cards for it. And I have a piece up here someplace. Let's see what I got. Yeah, I made these little cards. Now you can make them as wide or as narrow as you want to make them. And you are better off to go with 4. I put 6 on this one, but 4 seems to move a little bit better. And when you make your little card, the first thing you do is you lay it down here. It should be the same width as your strip of paper. And I like to make them square, maybe, you know, 2 or 3 inches. And then you make a mark across where that one fits. Then you measure up about 1/2 inch and make a mark. Then you measure up another 1/2 inch, make another mark, measure up another 1/2 inch, make a mark, and that's where you fold. Okay, then you're going to glue your pieces of paper down to your strip. And you can use whatever kind of glue you want to use, whether you're using tacky glue or hot glue or whatever. And glue these on real quick and show you how this works. But this is another great way to show pictures if you're going to put any kind of pictures in your journal, and adds interest to it. I mean, shoot, anybody can just stick a picture on a page, but, you know, to do something a little more embellished gives it a little more interest. And once you get all 4 of these glued down, you're going to take another little strip of paper that is the width of your strip.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go up underneath that very first card that you put on your strip, and you're going to put that piece of paper right around. It's like a little belly band. You put it right around that, but you don't glue it on the back. Where you glue it is to this strip right underneath this first card. So you hold that first card up, put a little bead of glue across there. You take your strip of paper and watch me drop it on the floor. There we go. You stick that strip right over that piece right there. Then you turn it to the inside like that. These 2 flaps back here on the back of it are what you're going to glue to your page. Don't get that glue up on your strip, or your strip's not going to pull. See, and when you got it tacked down, it does this. And slides that up so you can see whatever's underneath it. So that's how you put a waterfall in your book. Now that's as far as I got it, putting anything actual in the book. But I got a whole bunch of other tricks I want to show you here. We'll start with the napkin fold. They call these napkin folds, but We used to call them fortune tellers or cootie catchers when I was in school.
Oh my God. No, you did not say cootie catcher.
That's what we used to call them when I was in school. I mean, this has been around
Cootie
a long time. Remember how you used to chase kids and tag them and say, you got cooties, you know, and all that? Well, we used to, or, you know, if you did fortune tellers, you would fold this in such a manner that you could put little sayings on the inside of it, and you'd pick a color, and then you'd pick a number, and then you'd flip up a flap, and underneath the flap, it would tell you, you know, you're going to have a great day, or, you know, you're a very bad person and we don't like you anymore, you know, whatever you had in there. But the way you do these is you take a square piece of paper, and you're going to mark the middle at the top and the middle at the bottom. You're going to mark the middle on each side. You're going to take one side and fold it to the middle. Take the other side and fold it to the middle. Turn it over, and those same sides you're going to turn to the middle again and fold over and score them down. Then you're going to give it a 90-degree turn, and you're going to do the same thing with that side. Fold each one to the middle, turn it over, and fold each one to the middle and rub them down. Then you're going to push it out like that. You're going to take each corner and fold them to the middle in a triangle. All four corners like that. You're going to flatten them back out, turn it back over, and do the same thing again. This makes it more flexible for you when you go to fold everything up if you get these folded in both directions to begin with. Just like that. Then you flatten it back out, take the one side and take the bottom and fold them up. That's going to give you this little piece sticking up right here. Then, if you've scored it real good, which this one should have been scored because I've done it a dozen times now, and it's going to act up because I'm on live. And you flatten that down like that. Then you pull this side up and you flatten that one down. Turn it around. Pull this bottom piece up and flatten that down and that down. Once you have all four corners flattened down like that, you turn them in. Turn these corners to the bottom. Just like that. Then you put your glue on the back of it, glue it down to your page. When you open this up inside your book, you got your picture or your saying or your rubber stamp or, you know, whatever you've embellished it with. You can cut color pieces of paper and put on all four corners and then open it up. And then on these three, put a different color, a contrasting color on these. 3, 6, 9, 12. You need 12 contrasts in there. And then on these 4 pieces, you can put another color or put the same color you put on the very corners or whatever you want to do. Put you a square in the middle of it and fancy it up. But that is your cootie catcher for your journal.
For those now, you used to put like numbers and you'd click and hit a number and fold up, and I do remember that.
Yeah, we call them fortune tellers. Fortune tellers and cootie catchers.
Which boy I liked. Yeah.
And there's one that I've done out of cardstock. And
that's really pretty. I like that.
Now, if you want to, you can put your magnets on the back side and the corners. And I got another trick here that I'm going to show you using magnets. If you take I just took index cards. I mean, you can use cardstock, whatever you want to use. And you fold up a 1/4 inch on the one side, the bottom side of it. And then before you glue it, you put a little washer in there, a little metal washer. Then up here on the top of it, you put your magnet where it's going to come right down on that washer, and you glue it down. These are what we call matchbooks. I don't know if anybody remembers the old matchbooks. I mean, for the last, what, 30 years we've had lighters, but used to, you would have a paper matchbook where you pull a match out and strike it. Well, you can adapt the same kind of cover principle for putting embellishments in your journals. And I fastened these with magnets. And if you use washers instead of another magnet, it stretches your magnet bin further, because washers are a whole lot cheaper than buying them magnets. But you can embellish the front of them. You can put pictures inside of them. You can embellish the inside of them. You can put cardstock, a different color on the inside to contrast, whatever you want to do there. Now, if you don't have magnets or you're not interested in using magnets, I have one up here someplace. Gosh, I got so much stuff all over this desk that I've been fiddling with. Where did I put that? Here it is. Here's one where if you take your index card and you diagonal cut the corners of it, when you fold up your bottom down here, instead of gluing it all the way across, you just glue the very corners of it. Then you can tuck your index card right into that little flap you've made. So that's another little tip for you. Another tip is when you're doing these little index cards and you glue the little bottom strip. I did not use hot glue on the bottom strip. I just used Tombow. If you use, now some of you I know use clips, but if you don't have office clips around your house, if you got clothespins, you can use paper clips, whatever you want to use to hold those down while that glue dries. You're going to be a whole lot happier with your results. Because if you don't hold it down with something, it's going to pop right back out. But that's how you do those. And let's see here. Oh, this is a...
I'm sorry I'm not talking. I am just engrossed. I'm watching.
You're a sponge. You're so...
I'm watching like I'm just like not even on the show. I'm like at my house, just on my hand. I'm leaning, laying across my desk with my hand on my chin, just so you can see me.
You're absorbing it all.
I am.
This is a little tag that I made out of the washi tape for the washi tape show that I did, and I had that tucked in here in the back of the book. And what it says on it, if you didn't catch it on that show, it says, "This was the best ever." And I thought that was perfect for the very back of my book. So I put that little tag right there in the back. Now let's see, what other tricks have I got up here that I've been playing with? Trying to find all my gadgets and gizmos. Here we got
I know, right, Betty? I'm just staring. I can't stop.
circles.
You just can't stop staring. Here, Brenda.
What's that?
Corrected Mama Shelley.
Is Shelley in the house?
She is in the house.
Pitty pat pat.
The master herself. I know she hates it when I call her that, but you know.
I ain't pitty patting tonight, Pitty Pat.
That's my nickname for her, the master.
But what can you do with 4 circles?
Okay, you got circles. What are we doing with circles?
What can we do with 4 circles? Now, I got 2 circles that are that pattern, and I got 2 circles that are this pattern, stripy pattern.
Okay.
All right. So what I do here with my circles is I take one circle, well, I take all 4 of them and I fold them in half. Now they don't have to be, you know, absolute perfect on the edges. I mean, if you're going to be real OCD about it, you know, you can you can cut them out with a die cut or whatever. I freehanded these, and probably most anybody can tell that by the way they look. And I did these late at night, so, you know. But you take your circles.
Right.
And when you fold them in half, you take one pattern and another pattern. Now you can do them all the same pattern if you want to. I think it adds more interest. I like a little interest if you use different patterns. You could use all 4 different if you really wanted to add interest to it, but you put them down so that you've got your fold line even with the other one. Your fold lines should be perpendicular to each other right there, right angle to each other right there. Then you put a little glue down. And then you line them up. Get my bone folder and mash it down. Got a glue sticking out the edge there. I don't want the whole thing to stick together, so we'll get that off there. I see some serious goo gone coming.
I agree, Amber.
Okay. Then you take this one. Say we got stripe there, so we're going to go with the other color here. And we're going to put that so that the folds are right angled to each other again. And we're going to put a little glue underneath there and put that down. All right.
Susan said, no spawn. Where's the Vaseline?
Then we
Ooh,
take.
I know what you're making. Oh, this is so cool.
Then you take your 4th one.
Oh,
and
so
you put it on
cool.
top of the 3rd one and underneath the 1st one. See that? You're going to pull this one up a little bit. Get your glue gun. I'm going to turn it so it'll be easier for me to work with here. Turn it. Put a little glue right there.
Oh, I know what this is. Can I say?
Yes, you can. Sure, go ahead.
Is it going to be a petal envelope?
Yep. And you glue that down. And you come over here to your very first one where you started. And you put a little glue down. And you pop that first one over top of your 4th one.
Oh, it's a petal.
And you fold it down just like that. Okay. Then
it is. Oh, love those. It's a petal envelope. God, I want to be like Brenda. I'm gonna watch this again. I'm gonna do this. Dang, I should have been crafting along.
That's what you do with 4 circles.
That's gorgeous.
You can embellish this with other things on top of it. You know what? Just let your imagination run wild. You know, you can
gorgeous.
Take
I love those
little things. I've got an envelope around here someplace. Gosh, I got so much stuff tucked all over the place, guys, you would not believe. But here's a little envelope that I have been sticking little Alice sayings in that I have collected. And if you come up with any that are small enough, and I don't know if I've got any that's small enough on here that I could put on there. Might be able to cut this one down. This one says, Curiouser and Curiouser. Okay, so trim this down a little bit here on the corners. And I can take that, just put a little bit of glue down and stick that right on that glue. Didn't get enough to the end of it, so we'll go back in, touch that up. But you could take like another little piece of cardstock if you had like a little stamp. I mean, I wouldn't want to put anything real big to overpower this, but you know, if you had like I've got a little butterfly stamp here, you know, and if I put that on a little piece of paper, even colored stock, whatever, and plunk that down on that side of it, or you know, most anything. I've got some other ones here, some little fancy ones that's got designs on them. You know, you could put a little design stamp on that side of it, but I'd want to do it like on a piece of paper and not fool with my background. But yeah, you can do all kinds of things with this.
I totally got my grunge hands going. Oh my gosh. Nicole said, and Michelle, relax your fingers. I'm like,
you can do it with tea-dyed paper. You can do it with tea-dyed paper. You can do it with coffee-dyed paper. You can do it with homemade paper. You can do it with magazine paper, Shelley.
I love that. Oh, that was on my list to make, and I've never made one, and that is so super cool. Contrasting paper. That's scored. Go, Brent.
Well, have you ever seen a hide and seek? I think Michelle passed out.
Love it. Okay.
This is a hide and seek. And this is what's neat about it. You've got two pieces, or well, let me do it this way. You got a piece of cardstock, okay?
Okay.
And then what you do is you find the middle and you fold it in the middle. Then you fold each side to the middle, and that gives you 3 folds in your paper. Then you fold it over in half like that, and you divide it into 4 sections, which is going to give you 3 cuts. You take your craft knife and you make your 3 cuts along there so that you have slots. Then you take another piece of paper that is the same size as your 2 middle sections right here. You cut that in 2. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you 2 pieces that you can lace through these. It's a weaving technique, in and out, in and out. Now, anybody can do this. This is not rocket science. Okay? So you put one in that way, and then the second one, you're going to do just the opposite way. So where it's showing there, it's not going to show over here. You just keep fiddling with it. It'll go in there. Okay, so you got that. Now you're going to say, where's the hide and seek come in at, Brenda? You got it like that. What's that supposed to represent? Well, watch this. If you fold it up like this, and then you open it up to the inside, you can make those side ones go to the outside.
Shut up. God. Do that again. Do that.
Abracadabra.
Am I missing something?
Okay. You just
do that again. That is
now you take these and
magic, Brenda. You're a freaking magician.
Here again, you know, you can put little things on there. You can put a little piece of paper with your rubber stamps on there. You can put pictures on there, and you can do them on both sides, you know, because there's your little hide and seek.
Cool.
And then fold the whole thing up, and you can put like a saying on the outsides of them, whatever you want to put on there. You could put lace on it. You could put, you know, whatever kind of embellishments, buttons. I don't know. Take a zipper, whatever you want to put on there. Put it on there, and then fold it up and stick it in one of your tucks in your journal.
That is I am easily used, or that was just the most freaking awesome thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was, I just like now. I love it. Yes, I know my.
Yeah, there's there's some
That is
different things that you can do with your journal, to add interest to it. It doesn't have to be all one tuck spot and one pocket and that page after page and here's one to write on kind of thing. No, you can add all kinds of stuff to your journals, whatever interests you, whatever sparks your curiosity, you can do to them. Now if you want to see me do that, see how I make that, I'll show you. I took a piece of cardstock, okay, I folded it in half.
Cool.
I mean, this is not rocket science. Any one of you can do this. Okay. Then you open it up. You fold to the middle. I can see here in this light. One of my light bulbs blew out up in the ceiling last night, and it's inhibiting my ability to see what I'm doing in here a little bit. And with these 9-foot ceilings, it's an all-day trip to get up there to change them. Okay, let's see. Bone folder that down a little bit. Okay, fold it to the inside. Do this. Turn it to the outside. Fold them in. That and like that. Now let's see. I've got that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler. I turn this, say I fold it in half. I'll take my ruler, and you want the fold side of it is the side that where you're going to cut. And this ruler has so dad burn many sides on it, you can't see, you can't tell where you're at. Okay, and then I'm going to lay it out here with the ruler on it. And I'm going to take my pencil. Let me square that up a little bit there. And let's see, it looks to me like we're probably about, let's see, we want 3 cuts. The halfway mark would be 2.5. No, that's not right. Shoot. It's not quite 5 inches. That's why that's not right. Okay. It's about 4 3/4. So we'll come back here, but about here would be the middle. That looks good. And about there, and roughly about there. That looks good. I'll get some stuff out of my way here so that I can lay my ruler down to make my marks. I'm going to grab my craft knife. Easy for me to say, knocking the camera around. There we go. And take my knife, and right at that fold line, I'm going to come back toward the fold line there in the middle. Oops. Got off the line a little bit there. Okay, do the same thing on the other 2 lines. There. There. And if you don't get it quite the first time, grab a pair of scissors and finish her off. And there. Your 3 lines. Then Get the ruler out of the way. I took another piece of paper that was the size of the 2 inside pieces right there, and I cut them in half. Then you take 1/2 of it and weave it through the one side. You take the other half of it and weave it through the other side, go in the opposite direction. Because if you're under here, you got to be over there. Okay? Then fold it up, pull it open.
Oh my God.
See?
Oh my God.
It's magic.
I'm just like, I can't stop staring. I hope Brandy's taking care of the chat, because I already closed that chat window. I'm just watching you craft. Sorry, Brandy, you're on your own there. I've been popping in, but I'm watching Brenda craft. Oh my God. That is so flipping cool. And I love that petal envelope. Oh,
I'll tell you how the journalers or the crafters or the designers or the artistes or whatever you want to call them do the hide and seek. We do the petal book. We do the napkin fold cootie catcher. We do the the matchbooks. Whether you do it with when you tuck them in or whether you do it with a magnet. Let's see, what else do we do in here? We did the pocket with the 3 pocket spots in it, and we did a waterfall.
that is flipping cool.
So that gives y'all a few things to work on this next week to add to your journals. You know, if you feel like you've been stagnant and you need some new ideas and things to do, and you know, you can do them in bright paper, you can do them in tea dyed paper, you can do them in craft paper, you can do them in scrapbook paper, you can do them any kind of paper, typing paper, copy paper, parchment paper, wax paper.
I am totally going to get off of here and become a musician. I mean, I'm serious. It's awesome.
When I tell you I got a few tricks up my sleeve, I ain't kidding.
I'm telling you, Brenda, that was freaking cool. I love it.
So I didn't want to overwhelm everybody. You know, I mean, I've got a whole lot of other ideas and stuff that I can bring to you next week if y'all are interested.
Oh, feed us your knowledge, woman. That is awesome.
I mean, I could fill this and a dozen other journals full of stuff that, you know, I've come up with over time, stuff that we
Oh,
use
my goodness.
I mean, and for us, this was playtime. You know, I wasn't allowed to take art classes. My mother just would not allow me to get any place near an art class. So, you know, this was just stuff that we did in study hall or we did on the school bus on the way home. You know, this was just little things that we did entertaining ourselves making this kind of stuff. And, you know, it was stuff that you could pass to each other, putting in the lockers or that kind of thing. So, you know, to adapt it into journals is just, you know, it's a piece of cake. You just take all the stuff that you've learned and you just adapt all these little ingenious ideas into the journal.
I love it. That is awesome. They're saying, please go for it, Brenda. Bring it on.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll gather up some more tricks for you next week, and we'll add some more things. I'm going to be working on the journal this week, adding more things to it and starting to fill it out. I've spent a lot of time this past week just gathering up stuff because I've had pictures that I wanted to add. I've had to dig out rubber stamps, and good golly almighty, I didn't realize how many boxes of rubber stamps and stuff that I've got. But I've been pulling stuff out that I want to add to it. Here's something that you guys might think is pretty cool because I've had a lot of people comment on my Alice in Wonderland theme. but I have a set, a complete set in the box of Alice in Wonderland rubber stamps.
Ooh. Wow. I like everyone but the frog.
There is no frog.
You got a frog holding an envelope right there? What is that thing?
No, that is the knave. That's
okay.
That's the knave. He's the one
like
that delivered the letter to Alice. That's the knave. Okay. You got the Queen of Hearts, Tweedledee, Tweedledum. You got the knave. You got the Chessy Cat. You got Hatter. You got the Hare. That's the White Rabbit. And then you got the March Hare. And you got Alice. But yeah, that's the complete box set of the Alice in Wonderland stamps.
That is awesome.
So, yeah, just part of the collection.
I'm still just mouth gaping open. I'm surprised I have not started drooling. I am just fascinated. They want to know where you got that box set at.
That box set I got off of eBay a long time ago. So they are around. It was made by Inkadinkado Incorporated in Boston, Massachusetts. So I don't know if they're still manufacturing them or not, but you could look up Inkadinkado on the internet and see if they're still in business. You might still be able to get them. But,
so we got Inkadinkado, we got Cootie Catchers, and Susan said, we're all mad in here.
But then all the best people are.
Oh, yes, we are. Twisted.
But yeah, I mean, you know, and this is just basics. Because you can embellish all this stuff that I brought out. You can add all kinds of stuff to it. I mean, even just these little matchbook covers that I made. You can stamp on them. You can put lace and buttons. You know, now this is bright green, okay? But you could do this with the homemade paper. See, I've got these business card sizes, and you could score the bottom, fold it up, then you find the middle,
look at Brandy getting the link for the eBay thing. Alice in Wonderland. Look at you go. She's a good little wrench.
And then once you fold it down, you got your little matchbook, and on the outside of it, you can put lace, you can put rubber stamp, you can put buttons, you could put your flatbacks, you can put a little bow on there, you know, shabby chic the dickens out of them, and you got a little tuck spot or a little folder spot where you can put other things in it. And these are cute also to put in greeting cards. If you make them a little bit bigger, you can put a gift card inside.
I think it would be cute just like tea-dyed paper and just make it like, put it in a little tuck spot for journaling. That is adorable.
Yeah.
I never thought about making like a matchbook type tuck spot.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
You could even put a little pocket on the outside of it, you know. I'd probably do like some kind of a little semicircular or half moon, you know, style tuck thing.
Come on, Brenda, make it do some tricks.
You can put a little tag in there.
Make it jump.
But if you made them a little bit bigger, you could put a gift card in that. I mean, Christmas is coming up. You put stocking stuffers.
You could. That's really cute.
You can make them out of magazine pages. You know, if you find something really pretty in a magazine that you want to use for your background, make it out of magazines and decorate it up, or do you pity pat painting on it.
Wow.
You could take pieces of your serendipity paper and run it through your die cutter and put something on there. As a matter of fact, that reminds me, like, okay.
I was never a cheerleader. I just get really, really excited. I love crafting.
So there's a die cut that says celebrate on it.
I mean, that's great.
There's just all kinds of things you can do with them. Sky is the limit.
I could totally see that. Me, I'll grunge it up and write like vintage across it or something. Oh, yeah.
You could steampunk them.
I like it. I like it, Brenda. Good job.
Use some black distress ink on that, and then take some gears, your gears and your keys, and stick on there. Make it a steampunk little folder, and then when you open it up, you know, you can add like a steampunk picture or something on the inside of it, or some lace, or, you know, whatever you want to put in there.
Have something pop out at you.
Yeah. You could make them into pop-up cards. Sure.
That was so cool.
If you cut a circle in the front of it, you could turn that into a shaker card.
Wow.
You are only limited by your imagination.
You got that right, girl. You just, wow.
That is the one thing that I learned above all with Alice in Wonderland. You are only limited by your imagination. I mean, if you really get into the Alice in Wonderland series, of all the adventures and things that she had, it's twists and turns and that you don't see coming. Your mind just isn't going that direction. But if you open up your mind to all the things that are available to you, it can be overwhelming. I mean, you have to learn how to turn down the dial on the information after a while.
Yeah, I was talking about that this morning.
But yeah, there's so many things that you can do that I guess the thing that really kind of aggravates me on, I've watched a blue million journal videos on the stuff, and it seems that after a while it just gets to be the same old thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep it fresh.
Yeah. I mean, when was the last time you seen somebody make a hide and seek book to put in your journal?
I have not.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, that just freaks me out every time you do it. I love it.
Now you don't.
I love it. I love it. Now the pedal ones I have seen. I've always wanted to try one, but I've not watched anyone do it yet. And now I'm gonna rewatch this video like 4 times.
I mean, that's how simple it is. You just make 4 circles that are the same size.
That's really pretty. I love that. I love the contrasting colors on that. That is really, really pretty.
And well, I mean, you know, I could have done it out of bright colors or muted colors, or, you know, anything. I've got a whole pack of solid color paper over here that I could have picked, you know, like a blue and a green, or, you know, yellow and green, or, you know, whatever colors you want to come up with that would contrast each other, and then put it together like that. But I just chose to use the cardstock stuff. And
that is awesome.
Because on their own,
Randy said, Brenda, you're going to pull a rabbit out of the hat soon.
It'll be a white rabbit carrying a pocket watch.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
But see, I just don't like those papers by themselves, you know, to try to use on a card or something. It just doesn't do anything for me. I know everybody's got scrapbook paper laying around. Most everybody does. And most of the reason that you got that stuff laying around is because it's the back of the pack. It's the stuff that you're not going to use. It's the stuff that you consider just to be ugly. You don't want to use it in your cards. And Shelley came up with a great idea about, you know, painting over it or decoupaging over it, you know, making your serendipity paper and stuff out of it. But this is another alternative to that, where you take 2, see, by themselves, it's ugly scrapbook paper. But when you put them together and use them in something like this that adds a little bit more interest, you get to use that stuff up, and it doesn't look half bad when you do it that way.
I like it. That is cute. Very good. Well done. Well done, my friend. Well done.
So there you have it, girls. Lots of things that you can do with the napkin fold one. You notice it kind of wants to stand up on its own, and to put it in the scrapbook might be a little daunting. So what you can do, again, is you can put your washers down here in the bottom. You can put your magnets up here on the 4 inside corners. I'm trying to get that so it's in the picture. My camera is going wompy again on me. There we go. Get it back up there. You can put your magnets on the inside corners in there and put your washers down there on the bottom. You can put a piece of paper over the bottom to cover up the washers, and then when you close it, it plunks right down on those washers, so it holds it closed.
Now, are you going to put your see it next and functions?
You're breaking up on me.
What's that?
You were breaking up on me. You was going all.
Oh, I said, are you going to put that element in your journal so we can see it next week and see how it functions?
Yes, ma'am. That is the plan. I'm going to start incorporating all this stuff into the journal. I might start even adding some of my personal stuff into the journal, pictures and things of that nature. And I'll take you on a little trip through Wonderland next week.
Magic carpet, right?
And I'll teach you a few more tricks.
Okay. I'm down. I am down.
So I hope everybody out there in YouTube land enjoyed the show. And if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Share it around to everybody so that they get to enjoy all these marvels of journalistic pleasure that that I'm bringing you. And, you know, we'll get to add more interest to these journals that are floating around. And who knows, I mean, I've got other projects in the works. Lord have mercy. This studio looks like a craft room blew up in it, or a craft show blew up in it. It's it's got more stuff in it you can shake a stick at. And I went shopping and even added to it this morning. So good golly, it's craziness around here. But yeah, I'll be back next week on Monday night. Michelle, you want to join me?
Awesome.
Cool. All right. So thank you, Brandy, very much for modding out there in the room. And, you know, be sure, thumbs up, share it around, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks for watching.
Sounds good. Bye.